Emblems were just unlocked in Blue Protocol CBT, and here's what you need to know. I'll do a 1 to 2 minute overview of the system for you TLDR Andes that can't sit around, and then a deeper dive into what emblems and focus you might want to do for those who are more interested. Emblems are a seasonal power-up mechanic. This game is actually seasonal. We don't see it so much in the CBT because of how short it'll be, but the Bane Lords that we fight in the dungeons are actually a Void Corruption Frenzy event. Each 3 months, the season's theme will change, and the emblem will change as well as the power-ups here. The emblem consists of 2 main things: passive nodes, which increase your passive stats against void monsters, and an emblem core, which allows you to access different emblem skills, up to 3, depending on your emblem core level, that have very powerful effects when fighting void monsters. So these two in balance create the emblem system. You increase your passive levels here in your node to then power up your emblem core, and you power up your emblem core to then access more skills and power up those skills. So they're intertwined like that. How do you power up your passives? Well, you use these substances called Void Residue, Void Aura, and Void Prism. Right now in the CBT, you can only get the greens because we don't have monsters or stronger void monsters drop the later two, but on release and in other versions as the game goes on, you'll be able to farm those as well. You have 2 main ways of getting this real quick: in your shop here, your seasonal shop, or through fighting void monsters. So for example, here in the Ruins of Andrew City that have a purple ball above their head. Quick thing to note, the RNG chance on that purple ball or the void residue dropping is based off individual RNG. So you can be in a party of 2 and kill a mob together. Doesn't mean both of you will get the drop. It's RNG on who gets it based off your soul RNG. Awesome. So you power it up. Then you can come here and power up your emblem power parts. You get these through the seasonal store. And as you level up your passive nodes, you'll be able to increase this further. Right now, I'm stuck at 20 because I need to get my power nodes to level 20 to go further. So it's a quick overview of the system. Let's go a bit more in depth and look at what you might want to focus on. Adaptation, the first one I focused on because it gives +6 to strength into Agi per level. So really strong, really flat, really good for the CBT, I think, to just get this and use it. However, a thing to note here is as you level these up, the EXP needed to increase this goes up. So as you can see, to go to level 6 here, I only need 150. One of these greens give 100. So 2 greens and I can get to level 6. However, to get to level 29, I'll need 16 greens. So it's important to understand that as you progress here, to get your emblem core level higher, right, I need 90. My total level here is 39. That splitting it up would get me more because I'm getting more bang for my buck. So picking multiple of these to prioritize to get this up to access the second slot would be better than dumping it all into just one. When we look at the actual effects, this one obviously is very strong. These two are the void damage buffs against mobs. So this is elites and this is just monsters. So the buff here is 0.2 per stack each one. We have damage taken reduction and dark corruption reduction damage. So good for tanking, and maybe later on when you get harder content, it would make sense that you have to put a minimum into here to even deal with certain mechs that might come up. Void Corruption defense, again, just against Void Corruption, get that further. Void Corruption power, now this is interesting. This relates to your actual Void skills here and increases the damage you'll deal here based off the levels you put in here. So it's a really good way to power up these skills and is actually something that you might want to look at. That covers the passive nodes. Let's have a look at the emblem cores and how you get these power parts and what you'd want to focus on. Now, every 2 points you put into your power parts increases one of these at random. You don't choose, but it'll randomly increase one, and then you can slot it in. When you look at these effects, they're a mix of tanky, support, and DPS ones, and different interesting DPS ones based off how you play. For my class, I'm a shield knight. I'm shield spec. I spam a lot of expertise skills, so it makes sense to me to get something like Void Corruption Pulse, I think, because each use of my expertise skill reduces CD by 1%. However, I could also get Void Corruption Power, which makes my expertise deal more damage to void targets each time I use an expertise skill. So stacking these have 11.28% damage buff versus a 268% attack multiplier. So it's a matter of figuring out what makes sense. When we look at some of the support options, I think there's some really cool ones, like one of these makes you immune to void damage and also increases your damage dealt based off the number of void stacks you have. So it acts like a buffer for void stacks, so you want them. And then this one cleanses them based off your healing and then also gives additional heals. So there's a large mix of options here. You really want to look and try cooking with what makes sense and adding a list of them here. And that's everything you need to know about emblems in the Blue Protocol CBT. If this video helped you, please subscribe and comment below what you'd want to see next. And if you still have questions about one of the many systems in this game, I have a 1-hour video breaking down all the systems in Blue Protocol right there. Feel free to watch it. Thanks, everyone.